You want a bedroom that's cozy and warm, but you have something that's cold and sterile. Well, in today's video, I'm going to go over 8 design principles that can turn any bedroom into a cozy and comforting space. Cozy does not mean dark, cluttered, or expensive. And it's not about putting 17 pillows on your bed, so definitely don't do that. It's about using timeless design principles and environmental psychology that helps us understand what kind of spaces makes us feel warm, sheltered, comfortable, and translating that into interior design. I'll be demonstrating all these ideas using a mixture of before and after photos, floor plans, visuals, so you can also see and judge for yourself, because seeing is understanding and believing. As an architect trained at Cambridge University with over a decade of just work experience and obsession with interior design, I hope by sharing this condensed knowledge, it helps you create the cozy bedroom that you're after, whatever your budget and style. The floor surface in a really cozy space shouldn't be too hard or too cold. We want them to feel comfortable, warm, and soft underfoot. Harder finishes like tiles and concrete make perfect sense in high traffic public areas like your entrance area, the utility room, or your kitchen. But our bedrooms are none of these things. They're intimate and private spaces, and having a soft, comforting floor communicates that to us psychologically. Yes, I know in a lot of hot countries, it's actually super nice to have cold, beautiful tiles underfoot. But I think it always helps to have a rug around your immediate sleeping area to soften things up a bit. Some people would say, oh, then we should probably just make the entire room out of carpet. And I really understand that sentiment. But my personal preference would always be to use warm wood floors and lay rugs on top. This way you get softness where you need it, but it's also easier to clean and replace a rug than an entire floor of carpet. And full disclosure, I grew up in the UK since I was 7 years old, so I've lived with carpet in all rooms for most of my life. So maybe I'm just overexposed and also slightly traumatized by carpets everywhere. When it comes to decorating, people tend to obsess over paint colors, colors that you can visually see. But I think what's actually more important that doesn't really get thought about is the color of the light in the room, because this affects how you feel. We all know warm colors looks cozy and cool colors can feel cold, but that's a little bit oversimplified, because we've all seen blue rooms that feel incredibly warm and inviting, and red or yellow rooms that feel uncomfortable. So paint color alone can't explain how we feel. The real secret is the color of the light that's bouncing around your room. If the light in the room is warm, then everything gets tinted slightly towards a warmish hue. And if the light is cold, then everything shifts towards a bluish tone. Your walls, your furniture, your food, and people's faces. So for a cozy bedroom, you want the overall light color to always be towards a warmish hue to brighten up your beautiful face. If your bedroom gets warm daylight, or the sunlight is reflected off brick, warm-toned buildings, then you can afford to be a lot more playful with your spaces and then paint them in cooler tones. Whereas if the room is located where it doesn't receive any direct sunlight and is always grey and rainy outside, then you know the color of the light that's going to come into the room is always going to feel a bit cold and grey. Then you do need to be more careful and compensate by painting the walls, the ceiling, the floor, the furniture in warm colors. Glossy surfaces reflect light instead of absorbing it. They bounce light around the room, creating a lot of visual activity, and that keeps your brain feeling alert. Not only is it visually busy, but we also find glossy surfaces a bit unnatural. There's a reason spa hotels don't design bedrooms to look like spaceships or an industrial kitchen. And we naturally feel most comfortable in an environment that mimics nature. Now, I know there are super luxurious bedrooms that use a lot of shiny polished surfaces, and they definitely look expensive, but do they feel warm and cozy and inviting? I think not. I'm a big advocate of biophilic design, which is the idea that humans feel calmer and more at ease in environments that resemble natural conditions. If you look around in nature, almost every surface is matte, textured, and imperfect. Wood has grain, stone has variation, leaves have veins. And when we fill our homes with materials that have no relationship to this texture, the space feels visually dead and we feel uncomfortable, even if we can't quite explain why. Humans need visual variation, textureness, and just a sense of materiality to feel at ease. In fact, putting people in plain white rooms is a form of torture. It's real, look it up. It's called white room torture. So when we deprive ourselves of texture, interesting variations in the space, we're literally torturing ourselves. So this means if you want your bedroom to feel warm, cozy, comfortable, add texture over things you see and touch. Choose wood over high gloss textureless finishes. Use patterned linen or wool over shiny synthetics on your bedding. Honed stone or clay over polished, shiny finishes. Layer texture through your bedding, rugs, curtains, lampshades, bedside furniture. If anything feels flat, add grain. And if something feels sharp, then add softness. Having sharp objects in your room that look like knives or blades makes us feel uneasy because when we get poked with them, it hurts. For example, look at these window blinds. They literally look like knife blades. And that ceiling fan? Yes, it's going to move the air around, make you cooler, but it can't just be me who feels like you have spinning knives above your head. And also, you know, these like very popular snake plants. Yeah, I would also not put them in the bedroom because they look kind of sharp. So look around your room. Are there objects that look very sharp and pointy and it's subconsciously making you feel a little bit on edge? I would eliminate a lot of sharp, very geometric looking objects, prints, fabric patterns, fixtures from the space. Look at these two bedrooms and tell me which bed you think looks way more inviting and cozy. I bet it's this one, right? Yeah. To feel comfortable and cozy in a space, we need to create feelings of containment and enclosure around our bodies. The parts of our brain that used to make us run away from predators and seek shelter and keep us alive is still very much alive in us. So that's why a bed like this in the middle of a large room feels really lonely and exposed. And that's why if you move the same bed to be up against the wall, add some bedside tables, lamp, a rug, maybe even a full poster with draping, suddenly you feel more sheltered and safe sleeping in that space. The goal is that when you walk into a bedroom, it shouldn't feel like a big, empty, exposed space with a bed just kind of in the middle. The room should feel like it's broken up into human-sized zones, and in every single zone, you're able to feel protected and sheltered and enclosed. For each functional zone that you have, whether that's the sleeping area, your makeup corner, the reading chair, create some sort of defined boundary around it. Use rugs to mark out zones. Add furniture that gives you backs and sides around you. If you have a window behind your bed, soften it with drapes so you feel cocooned instead of exposed. Before we continue, let me tell you about Rayon Design, who's sponsoring today's video and also has become one of my favorite tools over the last year. Rayon Design is a CAD platform that's built for interior designers and architects, and it's completely changed the way I work. It's fully web-based, there's no annoying installation and download, so you can just start designing straight away. In a project, normally you're bouncing around between so many different softwares for drawing, presentation, rendering, schedules, but now you can do it all in one without ever leaving the platform. You can import your existing files or start from scratch, create accurate technical drawings, schematic, detailed, millwork, and then just transform them into client-ready presentations. No more exporting, importing, reformatting. It becomes so much more seamless. They have a built-in library of over 10,000 CAD blocks with front, elevation, side views, and parametric blocks so you can adjust into your layout, or you can just, generate custom ones using their AI panel from images or text prompts. Wild. You can also explore different finishes and materials, and you can apply custom properties to elements in your drawing and generate link tables for specs, quantities, and cost summaries. No more manually updating procurement lists. And because it's cloud-based, if you have a whole team working on a project, they can collaborate in real time from the same source. No more version control nightmares or endless messages asking which file is like the latest one. So yeah, if you want to try it out for free, there's a link for it in my description below. Have fun! Earlier we said that warm colors are more likely to produce a warm color light in the room to make it feel cozy, but not all warm colors are equal. If I showed you a bedroom painted in bright yellow, red, brown, orange, the full range of the warm color rainbow, you would think I've gone insane. But if we take the same room and paint it in warm colors that are much more muted, more chromatic, lower contrast, and fewer in variation, it suddenly feels a lot more comfortable and cozy. Well, why is this? It's all about how color saturation and color combinations makes us feel. Soft, low saturation colors like pastels are easier on the eyes and just requires less cognitive processing. Bright, intense colors are fine in small doses, but if you were to paint an entire room in this color, it's going to make you feel a bit anxious, jittery, and overstimulated. And then there's also variety and combination of colors. When you have a space in a single hue, it's going to be a lot more calming and comfortable than if you have a room with lots and lots of highly saturated colors with a lot of contrast in between them. Uniform lighting in a room completely destroys the coziness of a space. There's no sense of intimacy, coziness, softness, mystery. Let me show you what would feel much cozier. Dappled light. Pools of light scattered around your room. The contrast between light and shadow creates boundaries and zones which our brain finds naturally comforting. It's the lighting equivalent of enclosure that we talked about earlier. Because in nature, light is never perfectly even. It's constantly moving, constantly in flux, sunlight filtering through leaves, shifting throughout the day, and you cannot have dappled light without shadow. Obviously, at nighttime, your light bulbs are not going to start moving like sunlight through dappled leaves. But you can recreate that sense of variation by having multiple sources of light that you can turn on and off. In an average sized room, I would recommend having 5 to 7 different light sources that are not all above your head but at different heights around the room. And of course, the light color should be warm and yellow and not bright and blue. Look at this beautifully decorated room. Now imagine putting it under harsh, bluish, fluorescent lighting. Suddenly it feels quite clinical, right? Not cozy at all. But if you change the light to a warmer, more golden tone, immediately the same room feels softer, cozier, and more welcoming. If you enjoyed this video, there's a few more that's popping on the screen right now that you'll probably enjoy and want to watch next. Also, if you have an idea on what room I should tackle next to make it more cozy, let me know in the comments. Thanks, bye!